Hello, brothers and sisters of the church. Have you ever considered a time when fear or timidity held you back from God's call? Well, today we're looking at 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. Now, I want you to remember, Paul is writing to Timothy from prison. So Paul's locked up, he's in chains, he is not being treated well at all. And yet, hear these words which he writes to his young disciple, or now rather a young pastor, Timothy. He says, "For God has not given us a spirit of timidity, but of power and love and discipline." Paul knows what it's like to suffer for Christ. He also knows what it's like to continue to stand strong. He knows what it's like to not cower. He knows how the Lord will uphold his servant whom he has called. And he wants to remind young Timothy of this. You know, think about the times in your life when fear or uncertainty held you back. And yet, if God's called you to the task, he doesn't want you to be held back by those things. It's time to move forward. It's time to have a certainty instead of an uncertainty of the situation, because our certainty, our assurance is in Christ and in his call. Last evening, as those of us who were at church, you may remember we were talking about evangelism and how God will give you the words to say to those who you meet along the way. Don't live in fear. Don't be held back saying, well, I don't even know what to say. It sort of comes back to the old evangelist when he first stepped up to preach and he got all tongue-tied and ran out of the church even. And yet, as one of the church members tackled him in the front yard of the church, and the young man said, "But I don't know what to say." And the man said, "Just tell us your testimony." If you're a saved person, you have a testimony. And if nothing else, that is what you can share, because that shows the great transformation power of God. And yet some will say, well, I don't have a wild testimony of how I came out of this horrible life of drugs or bank robbing or whatever. They said, my life, I was just a young person. I know I was a sinner, but it wasn't grievous sins in that sense, though every sin separates us from God. But you understand what I mean. The person would say, I didn't live a wild life. Well, that even more so is a great testimony of the preserving power of God. Share that testimony. It was many years in church before I heard somebody say, I got saved as a young person. I didn't live this great wayward life before getting saved. I just was a sinner and needed Jesus. That's a tremendous testimony. So today, when you go out into this world to preach the gospel, which is everybody's charge to share the word of the Lord, do so with assurance that he will give you the words to say, that you don't need to walk in timidity, that you need to walk forth in power, love, and discipline. Let the word of the Lord discipline you and instruct you as to where you are to stand today. Brothers and sisters, I do hope and pray that your day's going well. Until Sunday, God bless.